All right, what's up, you guys? Just posted a video in the lottery ticket for tonight's Lotto Max draw. If you're thinking about wanting to have some fun, do a little sweat with me, see if we can maybe win some money. I'll put a link to that Facebook post or just the previous Facebook post that I put out. Feel free to like, comment, and share it. Enter it 3 times, giving away some money if we win the big 70 mil. Long shot, but hey, who knows, right? Someone's got to win that. Wanted to recap this week and kind of just bring everything into focus as to what's happened, what's going on, where are we going from here, all that stuff, right? So, where do we start? We are in basically a complete lockdown, right? Everything's locked down, nothing's going on, everything's shut down. They've limited the essential service list even more, so that's a little bit interesting. Basically, right down to like construction, right? Construction is essential because people need to move into houses. Maybe the house is being renovated, they need to move in, all those sorts of things. But they've limited so that after this previous Saturday, which was April 5th, I don't know. I'm so lost with time and dates now. You couldn't start any new projects. So they're really trying to restrict it. And I think if we're going to go halfway, let's just go all the way, right? Like, let's take it from one extreme and make sure that we go the full extent just to make sure. A couple controversial things I saw. Trudeau was talking about trying to get the Emergency Something Act, basically giving him totalitarian authority. Like, what he says is law. Not even like suggestions, they go and vote on it. No. He says this, and this is what happens. That's a huge no. We do not give anybody that power over the country. That's straight communism. That's like they're telling you to do this, and you do that. We are kind of in that right now, with the exception of it's not communism because the country doesn't own or run the manufacturing plants and all that stuff. But further to where we're going, I don't like how we're being handled. I get why we're doing it. I respect it. I thank you very much to the frontline workers, everybody that supports them, right down to the cashiers, right down to the people that clean the grocery stores. Thank you very much. You guys do a tremendous job and should be highly compensated for being on the front lines. But that being said, we are in an interesting time right now because they're basically putting us in a fishbowl. This has come out of nowhere. And we're like, we're almost like the Truman Show. If you've watched the Truman Show, or if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you going and watching it. It's very interesting. Some comparisons, not directly, but we're being put under this sort of microscope now, and the government is taking a lot of control from us, and are taking a lot of control for themselves. A couple of things I want to talk about that I actually agree with. If so, the government wanted to. There's some different articles out there. I think this one was the Globe and Mail, but don't quote me on that. But the government wanted to basically, or the government is allowing the RCMP to check on people that have traveled and are now coming back and supposed to be in quarantine. And if you're not abiding by that, you can get up to $1 million fine and potentially 3 years in jail. Honestly, I'm for that. Listen, if you traveled from Italy and you're coming back here and you're not abiding by the quarantine rules and regs, and you get somebody sick and that person dies, or that person gets sick and they share it to somebody, that person dies, damn right, you should be charged with manslaughter. You are not allowed out of your house. So you should be at home quarantining. Now, there's a bit of a police state there, so I'm a little bit like, that's not cool. So I'm conflicted with a lot of stuff that's happening right now, because part of it is good. We should be making sure that people stay home. And part of it's really bad because people can be controlled by the government significantly more. So there's some things that I don't like. One thing I want to be a major advocate for is that we pull completely out of China. We should be pulling everything out of China. This is nothing against the Chinese people. There's nothing against, it's specifically against the Chinese government and their lack of efforts, the ability for them to tell us what's going on. This is also against the World Health Organization. This is zero to do with politics. This is just reality. So we should pull all of our manufacturing. Shirts get made, shoes, anything that comes out of China, let's pull it out. We're spending billions and probably trillions of dollars as a globe. We should be reallocating money and funds. And I would like to see Mexico, the cartel, gone. United States of America government, Canada goes in there. Let's get the G8 in there. Let's clear out the cartel. Let's set up Mexico, because Mexico could really use a change and a turn of events for them in terms of manufacturing, bringing jobs. So we can bring good jobs to Mexico. We can bring good jobs to other parts of South America. Let's go in there. We've went in and wiped out Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, all these countries for oil. Well, we haven't, but the U.S. has. Let's go and actually do something good. Like, let's do something for the good of the people, right? So that's number one. Number two, we have lots of manufacturing plants. They're not being used anymore. Because of our federal government and previous government to Doug Ford, I can't speak on Doug and his tax policies yet. We've driven a lot of manufacturing companies out of Ontario specifically because the environment to create, to do R&D, to research and development, to have a vibrant workforce and have tax advantages for everybody is out the window. Everything is getting taxed to the hilt. All the tax advantages taken away. We should have brought Amazon here when we could have. 25,000 paying jobs that were over 100 grand, $100,000. They didn't want to offer them money. It's like, open up the vault, bring these people in. They're going to pay billions and billions and billions of tax revenue dollars every year through so many different things. They're going to prop up small businesses. They're going to eat at the restaurants. They're going to buy all this stuff because they've got money. So frustrating. So as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, somebody that looks at this from an employee standpoint, from an employer standpoint, from a business standpoint, there's lots of opportunity right now to reinvent how we do things. We can change this. We can make it a lot better. I have zero faith in the federal government. I've seen a lot of posts too. And I'm conflicted by this, but I've seen a lot of posts. This isn't to get political. I think Ford is doing as good a job as he can. I don't think Trudeau is doing any good of a job. People are like, I can't believe how good these leaders are. And I'm like, but he's just coming out and reciting things that the people in the House are telling him to say. Okay? When he answers any questions, he is a robot. He says the same stuff over and over until the person knows they're not going to get an answer and they move on. Trudeau, let's not forget, during this period, tried to pass a bill for the initial stimulus that he would basically have the right to do with that stimulus what he wanted, what the Liberal government wanted, with zero oversight. They tried to push this through. No, that doesn't happen. They've played dirty politics through this entire thing. And while they've gotten our taxpaying dollars back into the community, let's remember this if there's anything you take away from this, the money that is being paid out to Canadians right now is your and my and everybody's tax dollars. Bottom line. That's what's happening. It's not the government's money. The government hasn't saved this money for a rainy day like today. This is our hard-earned tax dollars now being redistributed, and really money that the country doesn't have. Now we're spending in the tens and hundreds of billions of dollars. This is going to create massive, massive problems from a financial standpoint for the country. So taking a broader picture, like looking at this from a on top of the earth kind of view, we need to recoup that money. One is massive tariffs on China. Two is to move all the manufacturing out of China, basically cut ties with China, which is extremely hard to do. We're a global economy. And so there's a lot of implications if we do that. We basically have to tariff them like crazy, and we should be tariffing them for like $1 trillion. This is something that is just, they could have probably controlled and they didn't. And then the World Health Organization should just be disbanded. They have zero credibility now. Lost faith with so many people. They didn't do anything. So lots of stuff to think about. Crazy week. I actually have, to sum all this up, some optimism. I think we're going to be out of this a lot quicker than we probably are being told. I think sometime in May, we're going to go back to a restricted workforce. which I think we need to. I'm not saying I'm the first one to talk about this, but I have been trumpeting like crazy. We need to get back to work. They're now saying if we wear masks, that we are limiting the spread. Doesn't mean we're not limiting what's coming in, but if we're all wearing masks and we're all limiting what's coming in, then it's pretty hard. Whether that's like a full mask with goggles, something where we're not touching our face, that remains to be seen. They want to potentially start testing people in like larger spaces for fevers and stuff like that. I don't know how I feel about that. And then there's a whole heck of a lot of conspiracy theory stuff going on, which I just don't want to talk about. I don't want to give that any credibility. And if there is any credibility to it, then we'll talk about it when they start to talk about it. But I think we're probably going to get back to work, and I think it's a good thing. We need to get this economy going because, respectfully, I agree with how we've shut things down, but we can only do it for so long. We can't keep giving money and money and money and money with zero revenue coming in because our taxes are going to go absolutely crazy. By the way, Trudeau implemented a 50% hike on the carbon emissions tax. Like, I get that it was already planned, which it shouldn't have been in the first place, but it was already planned. But now to implement it during this period, it's like, come on, guys, like, figure this out. They also gave themselves raises. MPs got raises. Trudeau got a raise. I don't care if they give it to charity. They still took the raise. They get tax benefits for giving it away to charity. A lot of things that are a little bit, I'm not on board with. Anyways, that's it. Week 3 lockdown. I hope everybody's staying safe. If you have any issues, you want to reach out, you want to chat, you got things you want to talk about, DM me, call me, email me. We're all in this together, guys. The quicker we put a kibosh on this, the quicker we're going to be all back to work and back to somewhat of a normal life. Stay inside this weekend. It is Easter. Call your relatives, call your neighbors, but don't visit them. If you're going to drop stuff off, do it in a careful manner. Let's just get over this, okay? Have a great Easter. Happy Good Friday. Is today Friday or Thursday? Today's Friday, I think. Today's Friday. Have a great Friday. Hope all is well. Stay safe. I'll probably be in maybe Monday. I'll see you guys Monday.